All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We're coming to you live here from the PhD Speed Gaming event in Chicago, Illinois, bringing you some awesome coverage from throughout the day today. Introductions first. I'm joined here with Willie and Jason from PlayFusion. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
So I see some cards out on the table. What have you brought to show off today?
Sure. What we have for you today is Warhammer, Age of Sigmar Champions. It's a new trading card game that can be played both physically and digitally, and it's going to be coming out this August.
So what do you mean by played digitally? I mean, physically, obviously, you've got our traditional games. We're going to be playing them on the table in front of us, but explain to me the digital aspect of that.
So sort of our thing at PlayFusion is that we print all of our cards that they're unique. Mm-hmm. So you can play them physically, but each card can be scanned into a mobile app, and you can use your same physical collection to play in the mobile app.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we have another game called Light Seekers that people are familiar with. It has some unique mechanics. This is our second game that we're coming out with. It has some similar mechanics, but it plays very different from Light Seekers.
It's a cousin of Light Seekers.
Gotcha.
It's not an identical. It's not a reskin by any stretch. It's really important to note that what we're trying to do is also, we want retailers and hobby stores to know that we're driving people. If they download the digital game, we're going to drive people to the store to buy cards. So it's not just that they can buy the digital game, and they can buy packs if they want, but they also really can get a 2-for-1 if they have a physical collection. Then they can put that all into the digital collection. So.
Gotcha. So you don't necessarily need the digital version to play the physical version of the game?
No.
And vice versa as well?
Right.
Correct.
But you get best bang for your buck if you do both of them
Totally.
at the same time,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. So people who are familiar with Games Workshop's Warhammer Age of Sigmar are going to love this game. It's a very tight battle-based game. Everything starts with your champions. So if we want to show an example of a champion,
absolutely.
Here we have our warrior champion. And you'll notice that there's 4 sort of circular types in each corner, and those are sort of your champion's objectives or quests.
Okay.
And if they complete the particular quest, the card will rotate 90 degrees. So, for example, in the upper left-hand corner, the symbol marks damage. If your champion issues some damage, the card will rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. And then the next one is a unit symbol. If you deploy a unit, then it'll rotate again. If it rotates all the way around, it will reveal a blessing. And you have 4 champions, and you have 4 of these blessings. And these are super powerful cards that are very important in the game. So part of the objective is getting those champions all the way around to reveal these blessings, which really change sort of the gameplay.
So we're rotating the champion around based off of what's in the corner specifically. So let me just clarify that. If we're only trying to satisfy this top left one, or is it any of the 4 corners?
The top left.
Okay.
One at a time, and then it rotates. Whatever's in that top left will be satisfied, and once it goes all the way around, then the blessing gets revealed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And if you look at some of these other cards, so for example, this is a unit. So if you're a warrior and you want to deploy a unit against your champion, you can put this card into play. Now, whatever the card says is the effect, and whatever the number is in the upper left-hand corner is what it delivers. So, for example, this one delivers damage to your target. You'll deal 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
At the start of your next turn, you'll rotate that card 90 degrees counterclockwise. It will now deliver 3 points of damage.
So let me guess. One more time is going to do 1 point of damage the next one.
You're very good.
Okay.
You got it.
You got to read upside down.
Yeah, so that's an example of a unit, but we also have wizard champions, and wizard champions deploy spells. So here's an example of a spell card. And again, that's a champion. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's your wizard champion, and then that's your spell. So you get a sense for how this is going to work. Now the cards can either deliver damage, they can do healing, they can remove buffs, etc. So whatever the card says, the value in whatever the upper left corner is what it delivers. So X means no effect in this case.
And there's also an area of effect on these, if you notice at the bottom of the card. So that red dot is where it's actually going to affect on the field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it would attack the engaged champion on the other side because you play 4, and there's basically 4 lanes of play. So this one will impact the champion that's directly engaged in front of him, and the green area shows what sorts of protection it delivers against your own champions as well.
Okay, so they'll add buffs to the ones adjacent to them possibly, or maybe do like splash damage across the entire way for some of them. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it's all different, but I mean that's kind of the idea.
Oh, very cool.
Correct. And then you also have, for example, this is an ability card. And abilities can be deployed in front of your champion or on top of a unit if you're a warrior. And these are sort of one-time hits and effects. One of the things that's really neat about this game, too, is that you don't automatically draw cards. You have 2 actions per turn. So your actions can be spent on either playing an ability or an action card or drawing a card. So if you play 2 cards, you don't draw any. You can always pass your turn and draw 2
Can
cards.
you then double up on drawing cards if, say, you didn't get necessarily what you wanted the last time around?
Correct. But basically, when you draw cards, it signifies the end of your turn. So there's a lot of strategy in terms of when do I play cards and when do I draw
You're
cards.
setting up. You're constantly setting up if you do that for like your following turn. So hopefully you don't have to draw too many turns in a row.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the difficulties or the challenges that you saw in trying to integrate a digital version of the game with the traditional analog copy of the game?
Sure. I mean, first of all, these are sort of prototype cards, so they don't have the full printing mechanism, but all of our cards have this sort of code on the outside, and we have the opportunity to do billions of unique codes on our cards.
So kind of akin to a QR code that you see in the industry, stuff like that.
Correct. So the image might trigger an augmented reality effect, which is something our company's known for, but we'll also read the individual code so you can claim those cards. Creating that technology is something that our company's been working on for years, and it's something we're very proud of. The ability to build a game that also plays very well digitally, I think, is important. So what you'll find is you only play cards on your turn. So, which makes it easier when you then translate that to a digital game. So I only play cards on my turn, you only play cards on your turn. It makes for a very nice turn-based experience.
Right.
Things like the rotating mechanics, when you look at the digital version, which will be coming out, you'll basically be able to see the numbers in the corners and how those cards rotate. You'll have to sort of tap on the cards to be able to read them to refresh what that card specifically does. So a lot of time and effort spent on the UI interface to make sure that the game delivers a very enjoyable digital experience as well.
Very cool. So if you had to grab at one part of this game that you really just love more than anything else, do you have something like that, or is it just kind of like you can't pick, it's your favorite child, you know?
Well, we love everything about it. I think
Right.
the first thing is it's an incredible application of this wonderful universe that the Games Workshop people have built in Age of Sigmar, and I think we've delivered very well on that. If you're a fan of the IP, you're really going to love playing this game. I think the mechanics of the rotating cards as well as the physical to digital are sort of play fusion things that we know resonate based on our success with Lightseekers, and we're excited to apply that to another game.
Very cool. So where and when can we find this game?
Well, it's launching August 2nd, and it'll be in retailer stores on August 2nd. So if you're at Gen Con, we'll have it at Gen Con. If you're not at Gen Con, you want to go to a hobby shop, August 2nd's your day.
Yeah, there's some information on our website, which is warhammerchampions.com. So if you're an individual and you want to get our Founders Pack, there's only a limited number of those. You can do that. And if you're a store and you're interested in learning more, you can find out which opportunities are available for purchase. And obviously, we're here today with PhD, and we're excited to work with them.
Very cool. And is there anything else that either of you would like to say about this game before we sign off for now?
It's awesome. It's awesome. If you like Warhammer, it's awesome.
I know that's Warhammer's got a little bit of a rabid fan base to it, right?
A little bit, a couple people. Yeah,
Just a
it's a growing genre right now.
Fairly new, right?
Yeah, right. You don't have to paint your cards.
Could you, though?
If you want. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so thank you all for watching at home. Stay tuned for more coverage throughout the day here at the PhD Speed Gaming event in Chicago. But signing off for now, I'm Matt. Thank you again, guys. I really do appreciate you coming on.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.